Welcome to this week's Yep Yeah Yes with Tamieka and Marisa. I'm Marisa, that's Tamieka. Sometimes I feel like I'm Tamieka, but whatever. This week we're going to talk about how colorism shapes our world. But I only want to speak within the Hispanic and Latinx, the Hispanic and the Black community only. Not Black Hispanic, but Hispanic and Black community only. Because there's so many things that people realize within our own community is colorism. And I just want to talk about it. Now, I sent you a few clips. And
hello. You usually say, hey, Tamieka, how are you?
Oh my gosh.
I'm so good. And you? How are you? How'd you make out of the storm? Good. All right. So go ahead.
No, wait. Let's get back to it. How you doing?
I'm good.
I like your hair.
It's a mess. It's just, I just have a lot of it. It's very thick and I can't control. It just puffs up.
Now, would you prefer
it? And I don't know, whatever.
I like when you have it all natural and wild and fiery.
Yeah, but it's hard to maintain.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
how did you make out in the storm?
No power for a few days, and then my uncle has a friend that he used to work with, who is an electrician. So the guy borrowed a truck from his company, came to our house, and hooked our power up. Went up the light pole with the bucket and everything.
It's nice to know people.
Yeah, so, my uncle paid him, side hustle. He got off of work, brought his truck over, and...
always with the side hustle.
Yep, gotta have it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so go ahead to what you were saying.
Oh, so I was on, I'm sorry about that. I'm exasperated. You had me on a journey today, and I was like, I didn't know it was going to be like this. So I'm like,
what did I do?
I'm foot-clamped. I was trying to watch something. We'll talk about it later. I'm just telling you I'm on a journey.
Okay, got it.
So I was on the medias that is social, and an article came up on my feed, and it's to protect and uplift dark-skinned people. And it was like, what's the name of the article? That's the name of the article. And it talked about statistically skin tone is closely correlated with income, length of crime sentence, representation in media, etc. And a disproportionate amount of victims of police brutality are dark, all of which is doubly compounded for dark-skinned women of color. This is not just true for America or Western countries. Colorism exists in Latin America, East Asia, South Asia, Africa, etc. All of it has roots in imperialism. So it got me thinking, it was a whole thread. And it made me think about like, wow, there's definitely a call to action. And it talked about, first of all, what is light skin privilege? Oh, thank you. Look at you.
Yeah, I'm just gotta bring it up.
And it talked about Sage Linear. That's the Instagram handle that I got it from. First of all, what is light skin privilege? People of color who have light skin experience privilege because of their proximity to whiteness. Lighter people of color are seen as more approachable, more palatable, and more attractive. Now that's part of the article. That's not my words. That's not my feelings. But I have expressed to you on various occasions, especially as of late, how the Latin community, the diversity within the Latin community is very broad. So when you have colorism within the community, it's a very known thing. I'm not sure, and I was talking to you about it, I wasn't sure that other people really knew that. And I wasn't really sure if that's something that is widely spoken about outside of the Latin community and outside of, it's a very common practice. It's a very common conversation when it comes to the Latin community. Like I gave you an example, like in Puerto Rican culture, You know, when you have a baby, it's almost the first thing that they don't even ask, how are you? How's the baby? How's healthy? It's como salió. How did the baby come out? Now, did the baby come out light or dark? Because our spectrums are so broad, you never know. You could have, you know, anything when you give birth because of genetics, clearly. But it's like, y como salió. How did it come out? They want to know, is the baby lighter skin, dark skin? Do they have light eyes? Oh, if you got light eyes, forget it. But have you, so you have 2 Puerto Rican siblings.
No, I have one. What are you talking about?
Sorry. Yeah, my bad. I was trying to mix my 2 sentences. You have 2 siblings. One of them is Puerto Rican. I just put, you got 2 Puerto Rican siblings. Right. So you got 2 siblings, right? One of them happens to be Puerto Rican. Have you heard these conversations, or is that something that when I told you about it, you kind of heard about it?
Pretty much when you told me about it, I heard about it, but then it made me look close, because like unless somebody points something out, then you don't pay attention to it. You're like, most people in society, I believe, and this is the ego in me talking. I believe most people are more concerned with what's in their own, what affects them personally.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so until somebody else points out, oh, this is happening to me too, then you're like, oh, I thought this was just like my thing. I thought this was only like a Black thing. And then you pointed out, and I start looking at my Puerto Rican relatives, and I'm like, okay, so it's kind of similar, but it's like, it's similar when it comes to them in a lot of ways, but dissimilar in a lot of ways too, because one thing that you taught me about the Puerto Rican culture is that not only, the one thing you taught me before you even taught me about colorism or told me about colorism, it was about finance. What do you call it? It was more about
Classism?
No, what the heck is the word? Class. Oh, is that what you said? Classism?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. So it was more about that, and so that's what I just pretty much focused on, and you know, it's just that's what I see. I see that too.
You see that. So I think I put you onto that game a lot earlier than I did the colorism, because the colorism, just from my surroundings, like I said to you before, like I'll say my dad's side, it's literally copy and paste. When I tell you that we all look alike, we all look alike. So it's just an assumptive nature that we're all going to look the same. We are literally copy and paste.
Right.
On my mom's side, the spectrum is a little bit bigger, so that conversation happens a little bit more. But the classism side in Latin America, in Latino America, obviously in Latin community, or in that culture, it's very, you can get past how light or dark you are, as long as you live in the right neighborhood, you went to the right school, you make the right financial choices, like you have the right job, you can get past it a lot quicker than I think in American society. Like in American society, like those are the people that are darker skinned, you can move into a certain neighborhood, but you're still not going to get past certain things. Where in the Latin community, you definitely get past it. Like, she's a doctor. Okay. It's class. It's classes will always be ranked more so than racism and colorism. But I wanted to bring.
I feel like that's like really. I don't like. I haven't seen. I know what you're saying, but I don't know. I just don't. Is it? Do you think it's more so in Puerto Rico, or is it like you find that stateside as well, like family in New York?
So here's the thing. So I have, like I said, I have 2 spectrums. I'll say it's definitely like that in Puerto Rico. It's definitely like that. I haven't been to too many countries in Central and South America, but the few countries that I've been to, it's definitely like that. It's definitely classist above anything else. So don't be Black and poor. That's just like, I don't know.
It's a wrap.
Oh, it's a wrap for you. So you Black, you poor. If you get to go to the right school and then you get the right job, and then it's like, all right, but you ain't gonna bring the rest of your peoples with you, are you? Like, but you individually. But that obviously that's the same in America. they'll be black and poor, period. But I notice here in stateside, in Anglo-American, I've seen very, very poor Anglo white identifying Americans, like poor, where like on the scale of class, I probably wouldn't rank them.
They can't afford the other O and R.
No, yeah, they po. And not only mentality, they're poor, but they still think that they're better because they're not a person of color.
Right.
Which is so.
And that, like, to me, I mean, we've had this conversation. That to me is like white privilege. That's what white privilege. That's a quote unquote benefit.
Yeah.
Before I want to play this clip from that AOC when she did an interview where she's explaining the Latin community and colorism. Yeah. We discussed this, but
within American Latin.
I want to share my screen too. Give me 1 second. I'm rushing it.
Don't rush. Take your time, girl.
Share screen.
And now that you talk about race, what do you think the Latinx community should do to stop racism among them and among other races?
Yeah, well, the first thing that's so important is for us to talk about racism within our community and how we are both impacted by racism in the United States and across the world, but also how it exists within our own communities. And, a lot of times I'll hear people say, okay, this is about Black Lives Matter. What about Latinos? And I always say, Latinos are Black. we are Afro-Latina, and we run an entire racial spectrum. And so we have to have conversations around colorism, and we have to have conversations about the African and indigenous roots from which we come and how that's reflected in systems of power, wealth inequality, and frankly, our political system.
So what do you think about what she said?
I love it. I love it for so many reasons. So I'm going to talk about my my American experience, meaning within America under, the stars and stripes. So one of the things that I think that the Latino community fails to really drive home is that while the spectrum is very big for self-identification, you still fall into certain categories in other people's eyes, right? So most people look at it very plain in almost like white and black, right? That's how everything was identified. Back in my day, everything was either black or white, and they didn't have really more boxes to check off. And then as time progressed, it was like Hispanic, Latino. But then if you notice, it's Hispanic, Latino, Black, not Hispanic, Latino. You know what I mean? So it's a very self-hatred sort of perspective, because even though I have a lot going on, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it out, and I'm going off on a little bit tangents here. There's a little bit of that self-hate because you want to identify with your culture and your country, or your home country, however you want to do that. You want to identify with that culture. You also fall under many different umbrellas. So I'll give a perfect example of what my brain is trying to get out that my mouth is failing to do. So look at Haiti and the Dominican Republic, right? You have people in Haiti that are in America that identify as Black Americans, right? You have the Dominican Republic who are in America who identify as Hispanic Latino. They're on the same island. But for some reason, there's that mentality that you're still better because you're not Black.
I mean, it's the way, I think it's because the stigma of what this country has placed on what a Black person is, and to the world. It's like one of those things, so think about this. I equate like we've been to places in the world, but we don't know what the image is of Black people being portrayed in other countries, how those images affect. I know, like, growing up, the images of Africa were always a little kid with the flies, emaciated with bones.
Meanwhile,
right. So if that's the image, it's like, why would I want to be? I'm not African. That ain't me. You know what I mean? So imagine what the image of Black people are across the world. You know, so, and I'm not talking about like artists. I'm not talking about like, you know, your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. You know, I'm talking about the regular everyday people that work a 9-to-5 job that are trying to put food on the table. How are they portrayed to the world?
Right.
And you think about George Floyd, like how is that whole thing portrayed to the world? You know?
Yep.
So and that type of person. So,
and that's the whole part of this conversation that I really want people to really think about, because it's like you could meet you can meet a Black Dominican, and for them to identify as Black, it's almost like you might as well spit in their face. Like, no, I'm Dominican. Like, papi, like they're your skin tone, Tamieka. Like,
right,
papi, you're Black. You're like, nope, I'm Dominican.
But it's like it's something that's taught, and it's, you know,
and that's
it's just,
and that's the one of the things that I wish we can get out of our own prison, because in the Latin American, Caribbean, and Central South Latin, everything, the picture of beauty, which I'm gonna say, I think, in my opinion, really mirrors in like the United States. The picture of beauty is that fair skin. If you could be dumb as rocks. If you have light eyes and light hair, girl, you popping. But you could be dumb as rocks.
It's crazy because I mean, I think about how I grew up. I've always thought that I was ugly, always. And then when I start to dissect what I considered ugly, like I fell into this trap just yesterday because I like posted pictures or video, whatever, that I made my hair and everything. And one of my Facebook friends, one of our friends, said she loved it. She just wished that I would smile. And I was like, I hate my smile. My grandmother hated her smile. Right.
I remember.
And I hate the fact that I hate my smile. And I know I hate my smile. She hates her smile.
And you guys are twins.
And I look just like her. You know, so it's like, and then I think about the self-hate and like being a little kid being called Black Banana and Tar Baby, and it's just like the worst names.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And by family members, you know, people that purport to love me, you know. They'll deny it today, like I didn't say that, with a smile on their face because they know, you know, that they did say that. So it's like one of those things where even sitting here at 46, I can't with a straight face say that I'm beautiful. I'm just never going to feel that way. I can't imagine that I would ever feel that I'm beautiful. And I think one of the things that I've always felt made me ugly was the complexion of my skin. It was so dark. I remember being in a bathtub as a preteen trying to scrub the black off of me. So bad that I made a indentation, not an indentation, but I scrubbed between my breasts, and I scrubbed so hard that it was scabbed. It was scabbed. And then of course it's white now because you scraped it to the bone, really. And I was like, oh, I knew it. You know, I just remember thinking to myself, like,
do you think, you know how skin lightening products are very popular?
Yeah.
Do you think had you had access to that in your younger years, you would have used it?
I don't know. I'm really not sure. I would say no, because I've never been one to like, I just don't like using anything. You know, I'm just too lazy in that way. Like, I'm just like, okay. The only thing that I've ever been consistent with wearing is like lotion. And that's because I don't want to be ashy.
Yeah.
You know? Speaking of that, I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to play another clip. This is from a segment that was on Good Morning America, where they tackled the question, what is colorism? So, you know, they go into more than just the Latinx and Black community, touch on a little bit more. But because you mentioned the bleaching, I kind of wanted to to point this out, if you don't mind.
Intense whitening. We've seen the commercials.
Set the whitening.
And the celebrities.
Sammy Sosa opens up about skin bleaching.
Skin lightening, a multi-billion-dollar sector of the beauty industry, projected to be worth more than $24 billion by 2027. But for some, skin lightening is about more than beauty.
The closer you are to whiteness, the better off you will be.
40-year-old E.J. David says he was introduced to skin lightening products as a preteen, and though he no longer uses them, says the need for some people of color is systemic, not cosmetic.
Everywhere you look, you know, you get these attacks about your skin tone, you know, telling you that your skin tone is not good enough.
Take a look. Your complexion and its proximity to whiteness can affect where you live, if you get married, even your innocence, with chances of being arrested increasing 14% with darker skin. Darker skin immigrants are even paid up to 25% less than lighter skin.
Many of us really don't have a choice but to breathe in this anti-blackness air, right? Because the systems in this country are built to reward anti-blackness.
So
that's such a great clip. That really is hitting home with what I'm trying to say on this, because it's like, you know, I'm very fortunate, and I'm very fortunate to have never really grown up with, I didn't realize colorism.
Right.
Although I heard that in classism, it was never really one of those things where my parents it was like, if a person is an asshole, they're an asshole. If they're nice, they're nice. If they work hard, they work hard. Like the individual. Most of my parents focused on the individual. As I progressed, then conversations changed a little bit, but I almost knew better, right?
Right.
And I remember having conversations with you where like it was complete ignorance, where it was like, I didn't even know that. What are you talking about? You're gonna have to school me. I remember when we first met, if you don't mind me telling this story, you guys were having a barbecue.
I put everything on Front Street, okay? I'm not scared.
No, your family was having a barbecue, and you're like, come, whatever. I was like, oh, great, I'll bring watermelon. We were in the car. If you would have stopped the car in the middle of the road, you're like, why are you gonna bring watermelon? I'm like, everybody likes watermelon. You always bring watermelon to my barbecues, like my family barbecues. I'm like, yeah, everybody likes watermelon. And you're like, you're really going to bring watermelon to a black barbecue? And I'm like, yes, it's hot and it's delicious. What are you talking about?
Flabbergasted. I'm like, really?
I had no clue. I wasn't privy to those images.
Right.
What I had growing up was Sábado Gigante. I had everyone literally looked like me. Literally looked like me. The very, very beautiful, like they call that like the vedette. That very, very beautiful. She could have lighter hair, lighter eyes, but the spectrum of women, everyone looked like me. Dark eyes, dark hair, my skin tone. I had absolutely no idea. I wasn't privy to regular television. Yeah, I saw Mr. Rogers and cartoons, but cartoons are, they're all orange.
Do you think that's good though, now in hindsight, that you weren't exposed to that?
For me, yes, because it didn't allow me to have a tainted view of the world. As I grew up, like I literally thought everybody was Hispanic.
See,
I literally thought everybody.
You're lucky that you're friends with me, because who knows what another person would have said to you.
Well, that's what I said. That's how I started my diatribe with saying I'm very lucky with that, because it was one of those things where as I progressed in life and my eyes opened up a little bit more, it was like, oh, like everybody likes to be Thanksgiving. Like everybody have more Thanksgiving.
Wait, say that again. Your Wi-Fi was just crazy.
Oh, I was just saying to me, like, I literally thought I thought the whole world was like Hispanic. I thought everybody was Hispanic. I thought everybody had rice and beans and a roasted pork for Thanksgiving. I had no idea. Everything that was presented to me, everyone looked like me.
But see, here's the thing. This is where I'm gonna have to have a little bit of fallacy in your statement, because when this happened, you were like, I'll be kind of saying, you were 19, 20, right?
Yeah.
So you had gone to school on Long Island and seen many different, it wasn't like everybody you saw looked like you.
Yeah, no. Okay, so by that
I want you to clarify that. It's not like you.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, it's not like you woke up from a coma 20 years later and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, okay,
There's
so
black
so
people.
that's a story. So I did move to Long Island for high school. It was extremely racist. I had no idea about racial epithets until I got here. They done schooled me. But the watermelon thing, I still didn't know. And if they said it, I probably didn't pick up on it. I'm like, well, watermelon's delicious. It's one of those things. So when you told me about that, I was like flabbergasted. I had absolutely no idea.
And then one of your relatives gave me pajamas.
Oh, with monkeys on them, right? But I don't know. I hope that wasn't done like that. I think it was just,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I can only give a benefit of the doubt to this person because this person is not like highly intellectual.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. Yeah. But I just think about like, I forgot what we were talking about. I just remember the story of the whole like.
And my mother hates watermelon.
Trying to come.
Go figure. She hates any kind of melon.
But yeah.
She don't like nothing. So I always make jokes like, yeah, I'm about to drink this watermelon martini. She's like, ugh. But I bet you know what I bet you she would like? When she's here next time, we need to take her to the fifth season because she loves cucumbers. That cucumber drink?
Hands down the best drink ever.
I think she would
that
like
is
that.
So refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think about.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
No, please. You were thinking about what?
No, I'm thinking about like where your head must be at. Like you as a grown adult going to college. Like how you?
Yeah, I was just like, but it's like one of those things when you know somebody, then you can give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Give them an opportunity to explain.
Yeah.
But you know me, I'm always like with the neck roll, like what? What are you even talking? You know what I'm saying? I can't fathom.
Delicious.
And the way that I grew up is like me and you grew up very different in the sense that like I was exposed to everything very young. So when you don't want to expose your kids to stuff, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like I was doing my version of perking at 3.
There's such a bliss with ignorance, and I want to keep it that way. I
the
feel
only problem with that is that other people can teach with the way the world is today. the things that I learned, even being exposed to so much, like I learned things from kids that I with everything that I knew, I was still so innocent.
Making me nervous. I'm itching. I'm scratching my eyes. I'm like,
I was still so innocent. And there's things that I wish I would have found out from like my mom, somebody in my family. And I found out from like a kid in school, and I'm not going to get into the details of that, but it was like, oh boy. Okay.
But now here we are. So here we are. You're Black. I'm Puerto Rican. Now, how do we become allies?
Well, I'm supposed to be an ally for you, or you're supposed to be allies for who?
For each other, for our community.
Oh, for the community. Because I'm like, bitch, I've been your friend for 20 years. Like, what else do you need? What kind of ally? I mean, I've been allying it up for years. What are you talking about?
For each other, for the community, for the movement, for the purpose.
Look, I hashtag on Blackout Tuesday. What else do I need to do? No,
what else?
I'm kidding.
Ain't that enough?
Honestly, I think the best way to be allies is to like what we're doing, speak your mind and not be fearful of sharing your opinion and being open to the idea that your opinion may be an incorrect one.
Can I ask you a question that just
if you're willing to answer the question yourself?
How to be an ally?
Oh, is that the question you were going to ask me?
No, I'm looking at one of the screenshots that we had with like call it out, right? And I was just thinking, and I had read another article where there was a story of 2 sisters. One came out a little lighter, one came out a little darker. They were at a checkout, and they were both paying with the check. And the lighter skin one got through no problem. but she was right behind her. She wanted to, the darker one wanted to pay with the check, and she's like, I need ID. And she's like, you didn't ask her for ID. And she's like, but I need ID. So the lighter skin one, what she was saying, what makes her an ally, what she was saying was like, she called her out on it, like, no. You're not going to treat her that way. You didn't do that to me. You just took my shit and kept it moving. Why are you doing that to her? There's nothing different between me and her. And I was thinking to myself, wow, what a great question to ask you. Has there ever been a situation where you felt that the treatment between the two of us has ever been polarized?
Yeah, I do. I think it happens a hell of a lot, but it's like one of those things where it's not to the point where I feel the need to bring it up or in the moment, because it's like it's a fleeting moment. Everything don't need to be brought up. However, on the flip side of that, I do believe that with a situation like that, that's when you definitely need allies. Do you need allies when it's like, when it doesn't have to do with business or being treated equally by stores and, you know, other people? Yeah, you need allies for that. Do I need an ally when some kid in the park is like ignoring me and standing in front of me and having a conversation with you as if I don't live, as if I don't exist? Yeah, it would be great if you were to be like, and I'm just using this as an example. It would be great if you'd be like, could you not stand in front of her? She exists, or, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's not a thing where it's like, oh my God, my world's gonna end. However, if we're in a supermarket and someone asks for my ID and doesn't ask for yours, and you can tell clearly it's because of race and not because of I look older or whatever, then it's a conversation that needs to be had. One of the things that I think, though, is that a lot of Black people don't like we don't really be bringing up the race card that much, but when we do, it's like we're not believed. It's like, you know, like there's a lot of white people. I've seen it with my own eyes. You mention something like, oh, because I'm Black. And they do they white people, they tend to get uncomfortable, like, oh, they're playing the race card. It's like, no, have I ever done this before? No, I haven't. So why not believe me when I say it?
Yeah.
Why not believe me?
Yeah.
So
that's
what about you?
Interesting.
Same question.
Between us, nothing that I can recall. That like you said, that would matter enough, like fleeting moments here and there, but that goes with my I don't know what the word is, my insecurity about I've always, like, when I came back to Long Island, it was like, I'm not white, I don't identify like that, I'm not Anglo, so they don't take me. I'm not Puerto Rican enough for the Hispanic crew, so they don't take me. I'm not Black, so the Black people don't take me. I've never felt like Hispanic enough, so to speak. And it's one of those things where sometimes, like, we've been at a place and, like, I don't know, but like fleeting moments, like if somebody's going to talk to you and they're cutting me off, it's almost like they don't think that we're together.
Right.
That, like, I'm not part of this crew, that I'm probably part of that crew, going to get a drink or something like that. But it's such a fleeting moment, but guys are also stupid.
But now that I think about it, even with fleeting moments, it's necessary to point them out. Because those little fleeting moments, there have been moments where there have been people that would have been around us and they've said derogatory, racist things, but they've been so small. It's like, wait, did you just say? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And or they do, what up, girl? It's like, we don't talk like that to you. Why have you chosen to use that type of, hey, what up? You know, it's like, have I ever approached you like that? No, I haven't.
Yeah.
So, and I wonder, sometimes I wonder if like, is it, going back to like the colorism thing, is it done that way based on the hue? You know, the lighter you are, the less inclined you are to do the yo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I that's something I'll never know because I don't ever intend on bleaching myself. And even if I did, I don't want to look like Sammy Sosa. What the fuck? Like, bro. I'm just saying.
That makes me so sad because the thing with Sammy Sosa is that he's Sammy Sosa. I don't even fuck with sports and I don't know who the hell he is. You know what I mean? Like, you're Sammy Sosa. You've become, and then this is what you do to us?
He's not us. He's not.
And that's
He's
the
not
thing.
you. He's not trying to be. And you know, one thing, I was talking to one of my friends the other day too. I just bring this up real quick. So I had watched the Misa Hilton. It's not her documentary, but she's featured in it extensively, called The Remix on Netflix. And she was talking about, you know, being a stylist, and then her artists that she would style started blowing up, like Little Kim, Mary, whatever. They started getting covers for major magazines, and then the magazines didn't want to use Misa. They would take her whole style and style them based on how she was styled, but they didn't want her in the room. She said, I had some people would fight for me, but for the most part, they didn't. And so she said eventually she ended up having to sell her house and live out of her car. And I'm thinking to myself, when she said that, I was like, but you have a kid with Puffy. Like, how does Puffy have you live in the car? This is Mr. Black Excellence. Every time you turn around, he's posting something about black, blackity black, black, black. And and I just don't understand. And when I thought of that, I started thinking about colorism and with him with like dark skinned men. Like, it seems like, I don't know. It's a whole nother issue. Like, I'm not really sure. It's probably something we need to have a conversation with a dark skinned man. But the whole, like, you know, light and white, and, you know, but on the same token, you know, black power and black this and Black Lives Matter, but not when in my bed or not at home, you know. And it's just something that I've never been able to reconcile. I've had this conversation with my father because it's the same situation. I mean, obviously my mother is Black, but his current wife is Puerto Rican, and she considers herself Black, but she's Puerto Rican. I had this conversation with my dad. He's like, no, she's Black. I'm like, he's like, don't you know Puerto Ricans are Black? The same thing that AOC was saying.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, for me as a Black woman, and how, like, as a dark-skinned Black woman, for me, it's hard for me to get over the whole colorism thing and understanding why, without being like they shouldn't, that light-skinned women and white women shouldn't be allowed to be with Black men. I'm not saying that, but I just don't understand it. And I don't understand it from men that are constantly like black, 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 black. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And so it's a whole nother conversation I probably need to have with a dark-skinned man that is willing to have that conversation.
But you know what else too, though? Yeah, not only willing to have that conversation, have an honest conversation.
On camera.
Yeah, honest conversation and on camera. But here's the thing, dude. Don't take it to the point where, like, I'm not saying I'm not beautiful. I want to know what your definition of beautiful is. Don't come at me to say you think that I'm beautiful. I didn't ask you that. That's not what I'm talking about. These are your choices. This is what you deem to be the archetype of beauty. Why do you feel that way? Because I remember you had made a post a long time ago, or I can't remember if it was on the blog, and you were talking about exactly that. And somebody gave her an answer back to you, but I think you're beautiful. But that's not what you said.
That ain't what I said.
That's not at all what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that was the one where I posted with, I think I wrote a blog on it. It was with the picture that had Diddy and Cassie and Swizz and Alicia, Jay and Beyonce and somebody else. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, they were all like completely like light. Yeah. That's the way to go. You see that in sports, you see it in entertainment. So when you see somebody that's as dark as me with the man, you're like, oh my God,
who's the guy from Dawson's Creek and his wife, I think, is your skin color? Yeah. And they just had a baby?
Jonathan Jackson.
What's his name?
Jonathan Jackson.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, that's a whole nother thing, though. That's a whole nother I'm talking about whenever I see a black man with a black woman, I'm like, like, wow. It's like a shocker to me because it's when you see it, you don't see it as much in entertainment. Like, think of 5. I mean, you can think of it to yourself, but 5 black men, and think about who they're with. You know what I mean? And do they pass the brown paper bag test? Speaking of which, I got this one last clip. Should I play it?
Yes, please do. Yeah. I remember this show, and I was like, wait, hold up. People think like this? I remember watching this episode.
Do you?
Yes, and I remember, I don't know, it was on a rerun. I don't know where I caught the episode, and I remember asking somebody in my vicinity, I'm like, have you ever heard of brown paper bag thing? I think it was my dad. I think I asked my dad, and he was just like, that's fucking dumb. He didn't say fucking. He never cursed. He was like, that's dumb. A lot of people do that, but that's people that are poor here. He had a very big thing about people being poor in mentality. He goes, that's poor people. That's poor. You don't.
So I'm gonna play it. This is from the Sinbad show.
Yeah. You're pretty. So are you. My grandma says you're always pretty. It's a lie in a paper bag. What about Johnny? His skin's too dark.
Get that thing away from me.
Hold on, wait a minute. What's going on here? What did you just say?
My grandma says you're always pretty. It's a lie in a paper bag.
So you calling LJ ugly?
I don't know.
Let me ask you something. You like Barney?
Yeah.
Why you like Barney?
Because he's friendly. And he sings songs. And he's purple.
He's a dark purple, isn't he?
Yeah.
But you still like him, don't you?
Yeah.
And if he was light, you still like him too, right?
Yeah.
So you got to treat people the same way as dinosaurs. You got all types of black people. You got yellow. You got brown. You got black. You got albino. All right? Nobody's better than anybody else. We're all black. It's what's inside that counts. You understand that?
Yeah.
All right. So you apologize to LJ.
I'm sorry. So am I.
Y'all go inside and play. Leave that brown paper bag out here.
What do you think?
I remember when the grandma comes later on, and he's like, I know about your brown paper bag thing. And she's like, I miss sitcoms like this. They don't make TV anymore.
They don't make them like that no more.
They don't make them like that no more.
But it's crazy, though, because it's like, I don't know. I mean, we're going through this whole Black Lives Matter thing and whatever, but it's like the shit that you got to tackle in your own backyard, it's like crazy. It's crazy, yeah. But I mean, it's eventually it'll need to be tackled. I don't know when, but it's crazy. Colorism is definitely a crazy thing.
We keep making small strides. So the hope and prayer is that it continues in that respect. So
yeah, when you look back, you're like, wow, that's great. It's like a mountain. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, we conquered that one. And that's what life is about. You keep moving forward and conquer new obstacles. And, you know, it's something that's not going to be, you know, fixed in our lifetime. But as you said before, as long as we're allies and we point shit out and, you know.
I would really like the Latin community to embrace a little bit more of themselves and to really understand that, you know, the spectrum is just so big, and I know there's so much going on within ourselves. You've just got to embrace it a little bit more, and I wish we would talk about it a little bit more, because I think the more that we make each other aware of how silly and stupid certain things sound, hopefully that would, you know, start going away within our own community.
Right. Most definitely.
And like, you know, I'm guilty of that too. So, you know, I'm 18% African, but I don't identify as Black. But the reason I do that is respect. I feel like, how could I say?
Have you told other people that?
I tell everybody.
What is the response?
So here's the thing. So there's two things. So sometimes when people are talking, they're like, oh, I bet you found out you're African. I go, yep, 18%. And they're like, because they're trying to be stupid. See, right. When you try to be stupid, then, you know, stupid people get stupid answers, stupid prizes, right? You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. And I'm like, oh yeah, I love it. So they're all like, but then other people are like, really? Do you call yourself black now? All of a sudden you think you're black now?
That's what I do. That's what I always say to you. I was like, oh, whatever. You quarter black almost.
See? Oh, but like when it comes to the struggle outwardly, the way those Anglo white identifying America views us, I feel as though if I can infiltrate and break it down, I'm gonna do that. But I also know that there's a struggle that I'm not privy to.
Right.
But there's gonna be respect no matter what. I'm never going to dim your light to make mine brighter. I'm never gonna say Black Lives Matter is amazing, but what about Latino lives? It's the same fucking thing.
You know.
How could I infringe on someone else's work? And if I need a movement, then I will fucking get up and move.
Right. I hear you.
You sit there and be like, what about Latinos? Then fucking do something, asshole. Stupid.
It is.
All right, I want to switch over to...
Yep, that's
trending. So, okay. You got me exasperated, FYI.
Why?
Because I've been trying to watch Big Brother, but I had a cacophony of things going on. First of all, I need quiet time. I need notes. I need to Google people and Google shit. Why is head of household is so important? Why are people already talking about alliances? First day, y'all just met each other. Why does everybody whisper when they don't like somebody? Like, there's cameras everywhere, and they all seem to tell on each other anyway. This is a lot.
It's such a good show.
This is a lot.
I need to have my cousin James on the show. We've been meaning to have him on before Corona hit to talk about psychology and things of that nature, but we might have to have him on to talk about that and then trending Big Brother, because you will have to watch this. The show comes on 3 days a week. So you got to watch the show. It comes on again tomorrow night, Sunday night, and then it comes on Wednesday and Thursday. Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Hold on a second. So Julie Chen, so when she's interviewing people, do people ever see, and she's just like, remember, everyone in the house can't hear us. Do they play these clips for other people at some point?
What, in the house?
Yeah.
No, they've never seen any of it. They don't see anything
until they see their season.
Right, until they watch the season. And then when they get voted out, she might show a clip. Like last season, there was a bunch of racism going on. Right? So whenever they got evicted, she'd be like, so what's up with the racism? Because they're on camera.
Are any of those people in this season?
No. I was praying that they're not in none of the people that in this season ever exhibited racism that I can remember. But she would show them and they'd be like, oh, like she showed them the clip and they're sitting there in front of the live studio audience as the person is calling somebody the N-word behind their back.
What?
Yeah, because the camera's on you 24 hours. So the true you comes out.
That's like, what's a...
made Asian jokes and she's the host. And then she'd be like, so tell me. And they'd be like, no, I didn't mean it that way. It was taken out of context,
Was it though? So so I know head of house is important, right? But right. The other guy, the other one to watch is who's the guy's name with the K?
Kaser?
Kaser. So is he? Because I see him talking a little bit like here and there, sideways, trying to make alliances already.
He don't play. He was on like season 6. Remember, this is season 22, I think, 2022.
Oh, okay. So I got to watch him too.
Yeah, you got to watch him. And then him and Janelle. Janelle, she's the blonde real estate agent. She had the 3 kids.
Yeah.
She's like a legend. Like I knew, like if they're going to have an all-star, she got to be on it. She's a legend.
Why is she a legend?
She's won the most comps. The comps are like after head of household, like try to win to stay in the house and prizes and things like that. She's like a beast at that. But she's like, plus she's always like voted out like the third person. Like they always because if they vote her, if they choose to sit by her at the finale, she gonna win. she needs to win the one where she makes the choice.
Got it. Okay.
So her and Kaser were on a season together a few years ago.
Okay.
So those two are two to watch. But they're all, you know, and then the one girl, Bailey, the two black girls, Bailey, and one has braids and then the other has like a long weave.
Mm-hmm.
They're both also on the challenge on MTV. They started on Big Brother and now they're on the challenge too. So it's pretty good. What's up?
Oh my Lord. I'm on location and I think it's gonna start talking.
Oh, okay.
So okay.
You gotta definitely, you know, check it out.
Okay. So then the next thing I wanted to talk about was Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion came out with a new song.
Right.
They also debuted the video on YouTube.
Right.
And Kylie Jenner was in it. She didn't dance. She didn't do nothing. She had like not even 3 seconds, maybe.
Well, speaking of that, for people that want to see, I put together a little clip, and we'll talk about Black Twitter and how this clip ends.
Okay.
You ready? Do you have a moment?
I'm ready.
I mean, you're walking around.
I'm ready.
Get your Wi-Fi right. Get this together. Okay.
Ready.
Oops, I gotta share the screen.
Get that. Get that.
So we see her walking. It's Kylie Jenner.
That big old booty.
Doing nothing special. Just walking. New face, who this? And then
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. But then Twitter decided to make Viola Davis. I couldn't.
That's amazing.
I hate Twitter.
I didn't see that.
I know. I had to share it. I had to save that for you.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
So Twitter is ridiculous. But with the Kylie Jenner thing and the whole video, the one thing I'll point out, because it relates to colorism, people are upset because, you know, Normani is like dancing. Why couldn't they give her like more of a shine in the hallway, dancing and twerking away to the door? Like,
I thought her name was pronounced Normani.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, is it Normani?
I thought it was Normani, but I mean, maybe it's Normani. I don't know. Really, I mean, I guess it matters to her, but
she is very beloved. Did you see that? When she's all like with the umbrella? Did you see it?
You know I'm gonna have to use this clip, right?
No, please don't.
I'm gonna have to.
Please don't.
You already did it, so it's gonna be out there anyway.
Just don't, please. I don't need this kind of hate.
I love you, homie.
But she was so good in that video.
So why use Kylie? I mean, I guess because Kylie's like mega popular, and I don't know. She didn't do anything.
Well, listen. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm going to tell you this. So Cardi did spend some time with the Kardashians a while ago. She just spent one night. She's very active on social media, so you kind of like see a lot. Homegirl is not dumb. She knows talk is good, whether it's good or bad. She knows that it's going to get that video talking about and the whole song. People are going to be parodying and doing. People are downloading. It's already a hit. Yeah. So she knows what she's doing. Both of them know what they're doing. Let the big booty bitch walk in a hallway, and they're gonna get so much shine.
Did you see the congressman who was pissed about it, saying that they didn't have no fathers in their lives, make a video like this? He said he accidentally stumbled upon it.
Okay.
Look, let me explain.
He accidentally stumbled on a video called Wet Ass Pussy.
And not only that, like I follow most of the accounts that I follow. If I'm not stumbling upon it, then you're not stumbling upon it.
No,
I'm just saying. Like I had to go after I saw this thing. I was like, I guess I'll just watch it now. I had no real desire. Like I was like, I'll watch it eventually, you know. And I was annoyed because Little Kim wasn't in it. I'm like the whole video was like, that to me is like that's crush on you. like the whole color scheme and the color, everything matching. How hot would it have been if Kim was in one of the other rooms and she had her hardcore pose when they opened the door? She's standing like that.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Tell me how hot that would be.
There was definitely missed opportunity in that video.
Yes.
Hands
Betty White. You
down.
saw Betty White was trending because they felt she should be in it. I'm like, really?
I love Betty White. Shut up.
What's
She would have been great. You know she would have been in the room dancing the way I do.
St. Olaf.
First of all, there was a lot of missed opportunities in that video. They should have been like showing a lot more doors with women.
But I gotta say, my mouth was definitely. I was like, wow, this video. Like, I didn't even know what to think. I was like, this is like. I didn't even know like to say like if it's good or it's just like.
This is the Il Nana. This is the Il Nana of today.
Yeah, and I was like, I could see myself watching it again, but I was like, I just didn't have any desire. But I just
the song isn't even that much of a bop, but it's just so like
it's the video. Like, it's the video.
You don't stumble upon that video.
You don't stumble upon like you know what you got to get to that video. And then he watched the whole thing, obviously, because
you got to type wet ass.
Whatever. Take your ass. Where?
Back there.
Right.
Wait, there was something else I wanted to talk about.
Well, obviously it's something you didn't tell me about because I would have had a clip ready. I'm trying I'm
Tiffany Haddish.
You can tell me.
Tiffany Haddish?
Yes, talking about? Yes. Sorry.
Okay, so Tiffany Haddish finally confirmed that she's dating Common.
Right. But the way she confirmed it though, like I couldn't tell if she was telling the truth.
She seems like that person that's always lying, right?
Right. Yeah, like you can't trust her. Like
but they said it again, like
lying, but the truth is in there. But she done made it a joke that you're not sure if the truth is the truth or not.
Yeah. Yeah. But now, are we happy about this? Do we care? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I don't care. I'm not happy about it. I'm not unhappy about it. I mean, you know how many women he's been with that we know about?
He's been everywhere.
The only one that I felt like he should have stayed with was Serena Williams. I liked them together. He was carrying her tennis racket bag. I was like, okay. That's probably why he was like, nah, I can't be riding like
this is why he's been with so many women, because he's apparently very attentive.
Right. Well, I like an attentive dude.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is they be attentive when you don't want them to be.
Oh, God.
So I'm going on my phone. Stop calling me.
Ain't that the worst?
Just fall back. Where your friends at? You ain't got no friends? What the hell? Leave me alone. It's too much sometimes. Too much. I want to shout out. I mean, we haven't done this in a while. I want to shout out a confirmed follower, Alan. Shouted us out on our page, Facebook page. So shout out to you, Alan, and thank you for listening, everybody out there.
I wish I could hear him talking back from the radio.
I know, right?
Oh wait, I want to pick an album.
Oh, okay. My hand's here. Now where am I going?
Left. Wait, right.
No, don't say left or right. Just say up, down.
Over. Down. Up. Over.
This way or the other way?
Down. Right there, that one.
One that I have not opened.
Watch, it's Britney Spears.
No. It's called Dalata.
Oh.
A faithful and deeply soulful take on Brazilian music.
Oh, there you go.
Contemporary yet timeless, Dalata's organic sound reflects traditional Brazilian music at its finest. Patrick Forge fuses his London dance sensibilities with Liliana Chachian's hauntingly beautiful voice to create a record reminiscent of Gal Costa and Astrid Gilberto. Shout out to the Latinx community.
There you go.
The Lata.
I need to go to Brazil. I want to learn how they do that.
They got to get rid of the corona first because it's pretty bad there. Anyway.
All right, homie. I love you.
Love you too.
Where can they catch us?
Yep, yeah, yes, 18 on Instagram and Twitter, as well as the Yep, yeah, yes podcast on Facebook. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, Podbean, Stitcher, TuneIn, and pretty much wherever you get your podcast, except for, you know, the ones I'm not going to mention because they don't play us, so I ain't mentioning it.
Oh,
but
YouTube.
You can also watch us on YouTube. If you're watching this now, you already know that. But if you're listening, turn it over to YouTube. Just go onto YouTube, type in Yep, Yeah, Yes podcast, and there we will be. We look so good in 4K. Check us out.
You might have to speak for yourself on that one.
No, we look good. 4K. Wait till they see the clip of you dancing. Ooh, child. Right.
There you are.
But I ain't posting that clip.
I got to dig into the archives.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, homie.
All right.
Good show. Love you. Mean it. Bye now.
Bye.